Yo, what's up beautiful people of YouTube? Welcome to Dom's Media Zone. Today's tutorial is part 4 of a 4-part series in this Lightroom Adobe, the CC or cloud web-based version tutorial. So if you haven't seen the previous 3 parts, I will put the links down in the description for you to go check those out first if you wanted to. In part 1, we've learned the basics such as navigating around Lightroom and adding photos, creating albums, and using all the presets and the auto functions in Lightroom. In part 2, we learned the lighting and the colors tabs, and in part 3, we've gone over the effects, the detail, the geometry, the crop and rotate in Adobe Lightroom. Now this is the final part, and in this part we're learning how to do the healing, the cloning, and most interestingly the new masks effects that Adobe has just included. This is recorded on the 31st of October 2021, so Adobe Lightroom have just released this new masking features which are really incredible, and I'm going to cover them in this tutorial. So this is a beginner's tutorial, so if this video is for you, do stay tuned and enjoy. Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial on Adobe's Lightroom, the web or the cloud version. So this is part 4 of a 4 series tutorial. So part 1, 2 and 3, if you haven't watched, I'm going to put the links down in the description. In part 1, we looked at importing photos and navigating around Lightroom and using the presets and the automatic functions and the profiles in Lightroom. In part 2, we looked at the light and the color effects sections, and in part 3, we look at the effects, the optics, the geometry, and the cropping sections. And in this part, we're going to be looking at the healing tool over here and this new section that's currently been released in this new version of Lightroom, which is the masking. It's a really incredible section, and it's super useful. They've done it up a lot, so I'm going to go over in detail about those sections. Alright, so to begin, let's look at this healing section, and for that I'm going to use this photo here of myself. I'm going to go straight ahead into this healing brush section. Now in this healing brush section you've got 2 modes. One is called clone and one is called heal. I usually use the heal one. They pretty much do very similar things, but I will show you. So over here you've got the brush size. So this is the brush on your screen that you can see me moving around, and this is where you can adjust the size of the brush, make it super big or super small. And also over here you've got something called the feather mode. So as you can see, this brush tool has 2 circles around it. One is the outside and one is on the inside. So the feather mode's more like this kind of area between the 2 circles that can kind of blend in the parts that you heal or clone out. So I'm going to usually leave this feather mode on about 50, but you can make it really big feather mode, or if I move it this way you can see there's no feather zone at all. So if I make this about, let's say 40 should be fine. And the opacity is the amount of healing that you want to apply. So say for example you want to heal something but you don't want to cover it up completely, you could change the opacity down a little bit. Best things to show you on the healing brush, let's remove some of these spots on my face over here. So if I do, I'm zooming in basically by 100%, and if I look at my face over here and I'm gonna make the size of the brush a bit smaller, you can see there's a whole bunch of spots on my face. Let's try remove some of those. So I'm going to make the brush size around the same size as the spots I want to remove, and then all you do is point at the spot and click. And what that does, Photoshop selects its own section to match the colors that you're trying to heal, and it generates the second circle. So as you can see, if I move my mouse off it, you can see the spot, but now because it copied from the part where there's like a little bit of a wrinkle, it kind of copied the wrinkle too. So what I can do is I can grab this and manually move it to a part that I think will look better. Okay, that did a pretty good job. So now I'm going to try and cover up some more spots. So let's say we want this one over here. As you can see, find a clear area where it can copy from, and that looks all right. Say I want to cover the section on my nose up, it copies from another section, and we can just choose one that's a little bit better. To move around, once you zoomed in, just hold down space and then you can drag your photo up. So I want to cover up the shiny part here, and I'm going to choose an area that mostly resembles the area I copied from. And that's basically how the healing brush works. Now if I zoom out and fit this photo to frame, there's a little section over here called visualize spots. So what this does, if you click on it, it actually shows you where all the spots in the photo are. So as you can see, I've got a few spots on my neck and here on my forehead. So if I zoom in, let's see what that was looking at. So if I fit 100% and it showed me the spot over here, I can go ahead, click heal, and it covers that up for me. Now if I scroll down on my neck, and I'll show you the clone brush now. So if I go ahead and change the mode to clone, it works in a very similar way. So I can increase the size a little bit. What I can do is click and it basically clones any section where the circle is. So look, if I go over my shirt, you can see it just clones a copy of my shirt. So I'm going to look for an area that's clear and just clone. But as you can see now, there's a bit of a color difference because I copied it from too far. So the best thing to do is clone from really close by, and that's still got a bit of a difference. So what I can do is just decrease the size a little bit and maybe come a bit closer, and there we go, the spot is gone and you can't even see that it was there. So that's how the cloning tool works, and that's how the healing brush works. So these two options together, you can remove any kind of spots or unwanted things from your photo by either healing or cloning. All right, I'm going to fit to frame again, and we're done with this photo. That's the healing section over here. Now to show you the next section, which is this masking mode section that they've just included, I'm going to use a different photo over here. So I'm going to click on the photo to select it, and then I'm going to go straight into my masking section over here. And as you can see, it creates this create new mask panel over here on the right hand side. Now this is brand new to Adobe Lightroom, and there's tons of stuff you can do in here. This is really cool. All right, this is a photo of my lovely wife, and she has agreed to let me use her as a model for this tutorial. What the create new mask section allows you to do, it's got a couple of different tools to allow you to select different areas or parts of the photo, and it allows you to focus on only correcting and adjusting those specific parts of your photo. So it lets you do things like select subjects in your photo. In this case, it's my wife. It lets you select the sky, for example, and just do effects on the sky alone. It got a tool that lets you brush and select individual parts of the photo on your own. And these two tools used to be available anyways in the previous version. So this is the linear gradient and the radial gradient, which lets you select different gradients in your photo. It also got something called the color range and the luminance range, which lets you select areas of the photo based on the color. So for example, we could do the green over here, and the luminance lets you select parts of the photo based on the luminosity or the lighting of the different parts in the photo. So to show everyone how this works, let's go ahead and create our first mask. So my first mask, I want to correct the subject over here because it's a little bit underexposed compared to the rest of the photo. So the rest of the photo is kind of bright, but our subject is not. It was very underexposed because of the weather and the camera settings. So I want to correct that. The easiest way to do that right now is to go and select subject. So let's go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, it starts creating a mask. It's saying detecting subjects, and it's working. It has created a new mask for us. And as you can see, the rest of the photo went black and white, and the subject is selected in red because it's trying to show us what it actually selected. Now in this case, it did a really good job, but if it didn't, if you found that it missed out some parts, so for example, let's say you didn't want to select the shoes on the subject here, I could go and click on fit to zoom in, and then I'm just going to move everything down so we can scroll down. Or let's have a closer look. So over here, you can see it selected her hair, but it also selected a little bit of this building at the back. So what I could do is click on the subtract button here, choose a brush, and then choose a brush size. So let's make it a little bit smaller. And as you can see, if I paint now over these sections, it takes away parts of the selection. So what I can do now is go ahead and just paint over all the sections that it's selected that I don't really want there to be selected. So like over here, we can take some of those areas out. Now I can go down as well, fix up the parts around the jacket over here. And as you can see down here, it selected some parts where it maybe thought that's part of the jacket, but it wasn't. Likewise, I can go and clean this up really nicely. It's not perfect, but it's really good. So there we go. It doesn't have to be perfect at all, but just get the parts where you think shouldn't be included in the selection. Like over here, let's try to take some of that out. There we go. That's pretty good. And over here, we can clean this up, this area around the hand over here. You can always increase or decrease your brush size. Take those out. Over here as well, take those out. But in general, it does a really good job. So here a little bit, and there we go. I think that's all right to show you guys how this works for this exercise. If you wanted to, for example, leave the shoes out like I mentioned earlier, you could do that. You could go completely paint over the shoes and take them out completely so that whatever settings we change here later will not affect these shoes. So let's go ahead and actually try that out. Let's leave the shoes out. There we go. Now I can fit to screen again, and you can see our subject in red. And what I can do now, once we've got our subject selected, is correct the details just for that area that's selected. So if you see an exposure, if I move it all the way up, it affects just that part of the picture. So I'm just going to expose her a bit more. So there we go. That looks kind of good. And you can see clearly what's going on now. You can even change the contrast, move it left and right. Let's move it a bit there, down a little bit. Highlights, we could always increase the highlights a little bit. Shadows, Do we want to mess with those? Not really. Let's leave the shadows how they were. Here you can adjust the white, black colors, the temperature, so you can literally change the color feel of the subject. Now you've got your tints and hues, basically all the options that were available in the effects tab for the whole photo. Now we're applying it only to one part of the photo. And that already looks a million times better in my opinion. The subject is well exposed and you can see it very clearly. And that's our first mask. I can go ahead and drop this down or expand it to see what brushes we used in here. I can go and collapse it again. And then what I want to do now is create a new mask because I want to change the exposure of the sky a little bit. So if I click on create new mask and over here, the same options that we saw in the beginning show up, I can go and select the sky. So if I click on that, it's creating a second mask and you can see detects the sky. And there we go. It's got the sky here as well. Now, as you can see, it did select some of the building stuff over here. Like you can see, it's got some red over here. We can easily take that out. Let's just zoom in maybe 60%. I'm just going to quickly do this. So once again, once you're in here, what you want to do is click on it and then say subtract, select paintbrush, adjust the paintbrush size. And what I can do now is start painting on the areas that were not supposed to be selected. So in this case, like this railing over here, I'll take that out. There we go. Just clean this up nicely. And in the background over here, there's also some kind of background houses and trees. I can just deselect those. There we go, that looks pretty good. Now if I click on fit, you can see all the parts that have been selected now in red. So what we can do now is apply those settings to the sky alone. So if I wanted to drop the exposure a little bit, you can see how the sky changes. Only that part of the sky that was selected changes. I might drop the temperature of the sky a little bit just to make it slightly blue. As you can see, it gave it a bit of a blue color now. And what I can do now as well is just increase the saturation a little bit so the sky appears to be a little bit blue. All right, and that works pretty good in my opinion. So what I'm going to do now is collapse the second mask. You can see now we've got two masks and you can always go and adjust them individually if you wanted to change something about them. The next part that I'll show you is create a new mask as well. So if we go create a new mask and say we wanted to apply some settings only to these buildings at the back here, but not the sky and not our subject, what you can do is go and manually brush those in. So if I go brush, you can see now the brush appears again, and what I can do now is brush in the parts I want to select. So what I'll do is I'll click on here and I'll say add and then brush because I want to add parts that now I want to select. So what I'll do is I'll just brush the houses over here. Doesn't have to be perfect. And there we go. Now that I've got my selection made of just those houses, what I can do now, adjust just the settings for those houses. So if you see, if I move the contrast up and down, only that gets affected. So by moving the contrast up, it actually looks really cool because it gives the houses some more detail. I can also adjust things like the whites and the black colors on the houses. So I could drop the black colors a little bit, bring out the white colors a little bit. And then if I scroll down, I can always increase the texture, make them a little bit clearer, maybe put some clarity as well. And there we go. Look how nice and sharp that's looking. Or you could do it the other way around and blur things out as well if you wanted to. It's all up to you and what kind of photo you have and how you want it to look. So that was the third way of selecting something or masking something using this new tool that they have. There's also things like color range, for example. So if we go to color range, this lets you select something by color. So let's click on this green. And there you go, you can see it selected everything that's green in this photo. And now what we can do, we're happy with this mask. So what we'll do is we can just change the color green. So for example, if we wanted a bit of a different tint to green, we can use this hue and adjust. So look at that, we can make it red, green, orange, blue, whatever color we want. So I'm just going to make it a little bit more green like that. And maybe you could always decrease or increase the saturation, up to you here. There's a little option called colorize here. So if you expand this, you can literally pick a color from this color board that you want the green leaves to be. So say for example, I'm happy with something like that. That's a nice green for me. What I'll do now is maybe dehaze them a little bit. And there we go. You could also bring down or up the sharpness if you wanted to. You can make them less sharper, more sharper. And we've adjusted just the greens by creating a new mask. And to see which masks are selected, you just hover over these little squares here to see what adjustments you've done. You could always delete a mask. Say we don't want to change this green, so we can go and click on these three dots and we can go delete mask for. So let's do that. As you can see, the mask is gone. Alright, another tool over here is where you can create a mask using this luminance range over here. So what this does, it makes edits to isolate brightness tones in the photo, increase texture and clarity on bright parts. So let's try that out. So if we click on the luminance part and let's say we select our sky because that's quite highlighted. And as you can see now, it's selected most of the things in our photo over here. And you've got a little adjusting thing over here. So what you can do is you can drag this out a little bit until you see that it only covers your sky. So if I go to the left, it will cover everything in the photo. If I go to the right, you're telling it to filter out all the stuff that's illuminated past a specific point. So let's say in this case, yeah, that's about perfect. It left out all the dark parts and just left maybe some of the clouds that were in here. And what you can do there is now just adjust those parts that it selected. So you give it a bit of a moody kind of feel over here. And let's remove some highlights from these clouds and maybe add some shadows. I don't know what you want to do. We could even give it a whole different color. Let's put some pink in there just as an example. And there you go. That's another way of creating a mask using the different options in here. Now there's another cool little trick to show you over here. So for example, we had a mask selected on our subject here. If I go create a new mask, select subject, it's going to detect the subject again. And say for example, you wanted to edit everything in the photo except for the subject. What you can do is go up here to invert and click on invert. And what that does is create an inverted mask. And now what you can do is you can adjust just the photo without the subject. So it's some really useful features that you can use in your photography. Let's say we add some exposure to match everything, and there we go. That's how we would use these masks. So it's a really cool little feature. I'm really glad they added this on. It will make your lives a lot easier when editing photos by auto selecting different parts and masking them for you. And that concludes the last part of our tutorial series. There's been 4 parts to this from beginning to end. I will put all the links in the description if you need to watch them from part 1 all the way to this one. I hope this helps you out. I hope you make good use of these tutorials, and may you have lots of hours of happy editing. Thank you for watching. And thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope it helps you out and I hope you learned something new. I hope your Lightroom skills have improved. And if you did like this video, do give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to this channel. Hopefully I'll be making lots more cool videos to come in the future. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, take care, and goodbye.